So it's an exciting day here today. I've been waiting for about 2 weeks. I ordered a sous vide cooker finally. I ordered the Joule Sous Vide cooker and they had a great sale a couple of weeks ago. They had $50 off, which is the biggest discount I've seen on them, and I've been looking for quite a while. And then I also had another $15 off from a coupon code I had from the Meat Eater podcast with Steven Ornella's podcast. Thanks to the Meat Eater guys for partnering with Joule and giving me another 15 bucks off. So I was able to get the Joule Sous Vide cooker for $129, which is a fantastic deal. So I've never used a sous vide cooker before. It just came in the mail a couple of hours ago. I cook a lot of meat, particularly a lot of wild game meat, a lot of deer, elk, got a pronghorn in Wyoming last year. So I'm looking forward to really trying it out on a lot of different recipes, particularly things like chicken breast, because to me, the only way I cook chicken breast where I feel like it tastes decent is if it's smoked, but chicken breast just really seems to dry out a lot, and so I'm looking forward to cooking it sous vide, which I'll probably try here within a couple of days. So I'm gonna unbox the thing. I'll get some footage of it and then give you my impressions. Then I'm actually gonna be cooking a recipe with that tonight. So I'll get that in the cooker here in a little bit. But come along with me and we'll check out this Joule Sous Vide cooker. As you can see, I ordered the white version. It's a little bit cheaper. There is a stainless steel version that you can order as well, but I figured for my purposes, this one will work just fine. All right. Got it out of the sleeve that it came in with the photo of the cooker. We're gonna unbox this bad boy and see what it looks like. So here it is. Pretty simple. Not a whole lot to it here. Let's get it out of the plastic. So as I mentioned, I got the white version as opposed to the stainless. There is a clip, looks like, that's built in here to clip onto the side of your bowl. And then that's basically it, and your cord. There's no other accessories or anything that come with it. It's pretty, I ordered the basic model, nothing fancy. So one thing it does say to do is to download the Chef Steps app, which I have done. And I think there's actually a fee you can pay to get a little bit more features inside the app. So I may check into that as well. But now that I've got this thing unboxed and taken a look at it, I'm gonna get a pot of water filled up. I'm gonna go on the app, I'll try to film it and see what it recommends cooking venison at. I'll show you what I'm cooking tonight. So this is 3 venison steaks that from a deer I shot here in Washington, so last October. They're not very big, they're pretty thin steaks. I'm the only one here tonight. My kids and my wife are camping, and I've got to work, so I didn't go. So I'm only cooking for me, so I'm just cooking 3. They're almost like a medallion. They're a little bit bigger than a medallion, but gonna cook those, and we will see how it turns out. Okay, as you can see, I got the Joule in my pot of water. I have got my meat, my venison steaks sitting right here that I will spice, and those will all cook here in a few minutes. Got my spices, and then I've got some liquefied butter that I'm going to put in with the venison. And then today I'm going to use Ziploc bags. Normally I would use vacuum sealer bags. I have 2 different vacuum sealers because I process all my own meat, but I don't think it's necessary today, so I'm just going to use vacuum sealers or Ziploc bags, excuse me. So let's take a look at the app here, because you want to use the app in conjunction with your Joule and see. So I've already signed in, because when I bought my Joule, I created a device on Chef Steps, so I've already signed in here. We're going to go in here, so let's connect the Joule with my phone. Grab a pot, add warm water, put Joule in pot. Done all that. Connect to Joule. Says connect. Push that. Press the button a top Joule to get started. Okay, so we'll come over here, press that button. Bluetooth connected. Joule will continue operating even when you are out of Bluetooth range. Pretty awesome. Name your Joule. And a brewer. Save the name. So you're setting notifications and it'll tell you, it looks like it'll tell you when your food is done. So you have to allow Joule to send you notifications. We want that. Hit next. Connect to Wi-Fi, we'll do that. Okay, now it says that my Joule, which I named Brewer, is connected to Wi-Fi and I can control it from wherever I like as long as there is internet. Awesome. Okay, so congratulations, you can now control Joule from afar. You can still control Joule over Bluetooth if you are in Bluetooth range. You're done. Okay, let's cook. Pick what to cook first. So I'm cooking, we are gonna start with steak. Grab what you need. I've already got everything I need. Start cooking steak. 30 minutes to 2 hours. Set temp. Gives you a little range in there. So 129 degrees is their favorite. And it shows you on their app what the meat will look like. You have a visual of what it'll look like. So if you, as you change, it changes what the meat looks like. So if you like it really rare, 122 degrees. 129 degrees, their favorite. 140 degrees. 154 degrees. So more like a well done steak. That is great for people to see the difference of what happens or what temperatures your meat looks like when it's actually cooked. Normally if I was cooking a beef steak, I'd probably do 129 because I'm doing venison and I like it a little more rare because it's doesn't have as much fat. So to maintain the juice, I'm going to cook it at 126 degrees and then set time. Is your food fresh or frozen? It is fresh. How thick are your steaks? I would say my steaks are about 3/4 of an inch thick probably. And it's saying it will be 45-minute cook time. So 45 minutes for 3/4 of an inch. And if you look at these steaks, I guess they're probably closer to an inch thick in places. They're not all uniform, unfortunately. The nice thing about a sous vide cooker is they don't have to be all uniform. That's one of the benefits. So let's go ahead and change that a little bit. Let's say they're an inch thick. Let's see what it says. Inch thick would be 1 hour. All right, so we're gonna start the Joule. Keep your volume up so you can hear notifications. You'll be prompted to add your food. After that, start the timer. Get cooking. So, you probably hear that whirring start up. That is the Joule starting. That hole down there is the water output. And you can see that the Joule is starting to work. So while it's heating up, it's telling us right now that the water is at 98 degrees. All right, so the Joule is heating up. I'm just gonna generously spice the deer. No big deal about this. This is just gonna add flavor while it's cooking. We're gonna spice it again when it comes out before we add the flavor to the meat and sear it. But just generously add salt. Fresh kosher salt, and then thickly ground black pepper. Sometimes I will add garlic salt to my deer as well. I'm not going to this time. And the reason why is I put some minced garlic in with the butter, so I don't think it'll be necessary. And I really just want to taste the flavor of the venison and just how everything tastes when it comes out of the Joule. But again, a pretty basic garlic salt I will add in there sometimes. So it does add a little bit of flavor. Okay. Put that stuff on the sides there. All right, it's only been like 5 minutes. That water is almost up to temp already. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm doing here with the meat. So I've gotten the steaks put into individual Ziplocs, got the garlic butter put in there. I'm gonna close them most of the way here. And you guys have to forgive any shakiness or anything like that because I'm filming myself. I'm the only one home today and don't have my tripod set up. So push the air out of the little Ziploc. Okay, I won't show you that on each of them, but you get the idea. Then I'll come over here and grab the big Ziploc. Oh, we got a new alert. Brewer's water has heated. Time to add the food. Put your food in brewer and then tap the start timer button below. Start timer. So once I get all these sealed up, we'll do it. We'll go ahead and start it with this first steak here. So I'm going to put the first steak in the larger Ziploc bag here. Again, I'm going to do a similar type thing. I'm just going to seal it till it's almost sealed all the way to the edge, but I'm not going to seal it to the edge, all the way to the edge, because I need to let some air out as I put it in so it won't float. Okay, the water's ready. I've got the first steak bagged up. We're going to put it down in the water bath here. So it's wanting to float up, as you can see there. Well, the steak was wanting to float up, but I just took these clips and clipped it down and got it to stay submerged in the water, so it should be fine. So I'm going to come over here and just hit start timer, and then I'll stop the camera, get the other two steaks put in real quick. There we go. All right, as you can tell, sous vide cooker is cooking. Got all three of the steaks in. I did notice that one of them was wanting to float up, so I just put a spoon in the Ziploc bag to help hold it down. They sell online, if you look on Amazon and different places. Joule may even sell them, or Chef Steps, little weights that you can put in there to keep them sunk. Even when you vacuum seal them, I think that they will still pop up at times. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube, particularly from Sous Vide Everything, Guga, who does a great job on that channel. A lot of experiments with different food, different weights. He has stuff floating up too, and so he's tried out different weights and different ways to keep it in the water. So you just have to find out what works for you. But anyway, a huge thanks to him. He is one of the major guys that inspired me to get a sous vide cooker. So I'm looking forward to trying out some of his recipes. But meat's at the water's at 125 degrees. You got 53 minutes left. So I will get back to work, get some more work done while those are cooking. Then once they get done, I will show you how I am going to sear the steaks when they come out. Okay, timer went off on my iPad. Saying time's up. Hit OK. It says your food is cooked. You can leave in the water for 1 more hour. And that's one of the coolest things from what everybody says about sous vide cookers is you can leave your meat in there for a while and it's not gonna ruin and overcook it like it does when you're cooking it, you know, either on a barbecue or if you're broiling it in the oven, on a grill. Smoker is a little more forgiving, but even still, if you leave it on there too long, it's going to dry out. Because all the moisture stays in the meat here in the bag, you're not going to lose as much moisture, so it's a little bit more forgiving. I'm going to unpack these. I've got my paper towels here. We're going to pat the steaks dry, and then we're going to sear them. So I will get you some footage once I get them out of the bags. Okay, got the steaks all out. I'm gonna pull them out now. We're just gonna pat them dry, get any moisture off of them, and we'll reapply seasoning as well. They smell amazing. Like I said, these are deer steaks from a mule deer, a young mule deer buck that I shot here in Washington. last fall. I'm an avid hunter, outdoorsman, conservationist. When at all possible, I try to provide meat for my family that I've harvested. So that's the way I prefer to obtain our meat for the most part if I can, but not always. I mean, we do eat beef as well. So now we're gonna go ahead and pat those dry. You can see the garlic on there. Normally I would use fresh minced garlic, but I didn't have any. So I just used canned minced garlic, but still like the taste of it. Better than having no garlic. Okay, so we're just gonna reapply some seasoning for the searing process. Over here, there's still quite a bit of pepper on them. So we'll add a little bit of pepper, but okay, now we're going to move these steaks over into some butter that is just about ready. Got a hot cast iron skillet here with melted butter in it. That is how I'm going to sear the steaks and brown them tonight. There's a lot of ways that you can actually do this. Google Sous Vide Everything on YouTube. I really suggest his channel if you're into sous vide cooking. He has used quite a few torches and reviews them on his channel that you can put on the end of a propane or butane tank. So you can use a little torch to sear them. You can do it on your barbecue, crank that thing up on high and sear them. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way in butter in a cast iron skillet. Just because I haven't bought a torch yet. I think the butter should be hot enough now to throw the steaks on, so we'll get them on there and go from there. Okay, this is the final product. I've got the 3 venison medallions. When I cut up my deer, I cut them up pretty small because I have 3 daughters and they don't eat a lot, so I just make enough kind of for our family. So here's the steaks. You can see how they've turned out. They were more on the medium side than medium rare, which I prefer a medium rare to rare steak, especially when it comes to venison. However, I tasted them and they were fantastic. I learned a lesson. I think what I did wrong was I need to use something with a higher smoking point than butter. I think maybe olive oil or something would work better, but if you see, you know, it's still on the rarer side, but it's not rare. So still plenty of flavor in there and plenty of juices. So all in all, I think that the sous vide deer for my first attempt turned out really good. The flavor was great. What's interesting is when I took a bite of it, normally overcooked deer, if it's medium, is chewy and dry. That was not the case at all with this. It had tons of flavor. It was still really juicy, really good venison. So overall, I'm really impressed. I think next time I'll change the way I cook it a little bit. I'll probably use a torch to sear them instead of cooking them in butter. Now I don't have to sear them for quite as long, and they cook up a little bit when you do that. Plus, these were really small pieces, so I'll probably put them in the Joule for a little bit less time. I was super impressed with how the Joule works. Super easy. The app was easy, and the meat was fantastic. I've never had deer that was a little bit overdone that tasted very good, or any wild game, because it's so lean. I think that goes to what people say about how forgiving sous vide cooking is. You don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be an amazing chef, but you can cook really good meat simply because sous vide works so well and keeps the moisture in the meat. Thanks for following along. Hope you found this interesting, and If you have any questions, shoot me a message and I'll see if I can try to answer them. I'll get you guys some more recipes as I work through them on the antelope and the elk and some vegetables and some other things.